In the heart of a city that never slept, there was a small pocket of peace where the day came to exhale. As the sun began its slow descent, it painted the sky in strokes of fiery orange and deep violet. The golden light poured through the leaves of ancient trees, turning the ordinary world into something magical. And in the midst of this daily masterpiece, there was an old man who sat on the same wooden bench every evening. He was as much a part of the scenery as the oak tree he sat under. He came not just to watch the sun say its goodbyes, but to watch the world live, to feel its steady, quiet pulse against his own. Life swirled around his quiet island of stillness. People walked by, rushing home from work, heading to parties, glued to their phones. A young professional on a frantic call, a couple lost in their own private universe, all moving too fast to notice the man who simply sat, a silent witness to their hurried lives. But he just sat there quietly, staring at the sunset. One day, a young boy noticed him. While other kids chased a ball, he was drawn to the quiet corners. He'd watched the old man for days, a silent fixture against the changing sky. Curious, he walked up and asked,
"Grandpa, why do you sit here every day?"
The old man turned his head slowly, his eyes holding a surprising clarity. He smiled faintly and replied,
"For a very long time, everyone needed something from me. I was a husband, a father, a colleague. My days were full of purpose." He paused, his gaze returning to the sunset. "Because here, nobody needs me, but I still need this world. I need to see the colors change, to feel the breeze. It reminds me that I'm still a part of it all, even if my role has changed."
The boy didn't understand the depth of those words, the lifetime of love and loss they held. He ran back to his friends, but his steps were slower, more thoughtful. He glanced back one last time. The old man was just a silhouette now, watching the last sliver of sun disappear. But those words stayed with him, a quiet lesson in what it means to simply be. You see, to understand why he sits here, you have to understand the life that came before. Years ago, that old man didn't just have a family, he had a universe, and it revolved around them. His world was a symphony of slammed doors, scraped knees, and endless questions. He once carried his little daughter on his shoulders through this very park, her laughter echoing through the trees as she pointed at the clouds, convinced she could touch them. He taught her how to ride a bike on these same paths, his hands steady on the seat until, suddenly, she was flying on her own. He worked 2 jobs, not just to put food on the table, but to build a foundation for their dreams. One shift bled into the next, his body aching with a fatigue that went bone deep. He sacrificed sleep, not out of obligation, but for the quiet privilege of standing in their doorways, watching them dream peacefully, knowing they were safe and loved. Those silent moments were his fuel. But time, as it does, moved with a thief's speed. The years blurred into a montage of school plays, graduations, and first heartbreaks. His daughter grew up, a beautiful woman with a life of her own. He walked her down the aisle, his heart a tangled mess of pride and loss. Then she got married, moved away, and the calls that were once daily became weekly, then monthly, then rare. He became a story she told, a memory from a different life. And then, the cruelest silence of all. His wife, his partner in every joy and sorrow for 50 years, passed away. She was the heart of their home, the melody in the quiet moments. Without her, the house that was once full of laughter and chaos became a hollow, echoing chamber. Every room held a ghost, every object a memory too painful to touch. The silence was a physical weight. So he came to this bench, this specific bench, because here, in the park of his past, he could at least watch life's beautiful, chaotic symphony continue. He could see his own story reflected in the faces of strangers, the young father with his child, the couple holding hands. It hurt, of course, a deep, resonant ache. But it was a feeling, and any feeling was better than sitting alone inside those 4 silent walls, waiting for a quiet that had already arrived. One evening, the young boy returned. This time, he sat beside the old man. They didn't speak for a while. They just watched the sun melt into the horizon. Finally, the boy said,
"I think I understand now. You sit here because you're waiting for someone to remember you."
The old man's eyes watered, but he didn't deny it. Look at him, sitting there as the sun dips below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. He watches the world move on around him, a silent observer to the rhythm of life he once danced to so vigorously. The hard, undeniable truth is, this isn't just his story. It's a preview of our own. One day, each of us will be in his place, watching the world we helped build continue on without us. And in that quiet moment, we'll think of our parents, the ones who gave us everything. They weren't just providers, they were the architects of our childhoods, the healers of our heartbreaks, the silent cheerleaders for every small victory. And what do we offer in return? Caught in the rush of our own lives, we think a quick purchase or a grand promise can fill the growing distance. But our parents don't really need our money, or gifts, or big promises. Those things are just echoes of affection, not the sound itself. What they truly crave, what they ache for, is something far more precious and much harder to give. They just need our time. A simple phone call, not just to report on your life, but to ask about theirs, and to truly listen to the answer. A visit, not out of obligation, but from a genuine desire to connect, to share a cup of tea, to simply be. A seat beside them on a quiet evening, sharing the silence as comfortably as you once shared bedtime stories. It's laughing over old photographs, rediscovering forgotten memories that shaped who you are. Because love isn't measured in what you buy. That currency is worthless in the economy of the heart. It's measured in the simple, profound act of being there. It's measured in presence. So the next time you see someone waiting, a parent, a grandparent, even a lonely neighbor, don't rush past. Sit with them. Listen. Remind them that they are not forgotten. Because one day, you'll wish someone did the same for you.